Hi everyone, welcome back to Crochet Rocks. My name's Tracy, and in this tutorial I'm going to show you how to do a simple little Picot Edge which you can use around any blanket or any project. I've already simulated a border by doing 2 rows of a UK half treble, which is a US half double, and so I'm only going to show you how to do the Picot Edge. This is assuming that you already know how to make your border. Now you can do this with the half treble, half double, or you can do it with a UK double crochet, which in the US is a single crochet. So before we start, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to my channel, the little buttons over here, and hit that notification bell. You'll be informed when there are new videos, and there are a lot coming your way at the moment, and I have a lot of tutorials already listed, including the blanket for this rectangular baby box granny rectangular blanket. I didn't really say that very well. It's a bit much to get your mouth around, the rectangular box baby blanket. Too many B's. So that tutorial was already up, and I finished it with a quite simple little border, and I left it there because I quite liked it, but I did say I would do a separate tutorial to show how to do the Picot Edge. Now I've used a DK weight yarn, which is a 3 weight in the US, and it's got a really lovely little baby kind of glitz to it. I'm not sure if it's going to pick up too easily in this light. It's very sunny today, but it is a really pretty yarn. And I've used a 4.5mm crochet hook. Now you could use smaller with a DK if you wanted it to be a little bit more compact, but I wanted this to be quite airy and drapey, especially as it's now officially spring and UK summertime is beginning. So I wanted it to be nice and light. So all of these yarns are very cheap. I got them from a store in the UK called B&M, but you can use whichever yarn you wish. You don't have to use a 3 weight at all. If you wanted to use a 4 weight, which in the UK is called Aran, then you can. Just make sure you use a corresponding size crochet hook. Likewise, if you wanted this to be a little bit more compact and chunky feeling, just drop down from a 4.5 to maybe a 375 or a 4. I'm not sure what the letters of those are in the US, but that's just I'm using a 4.5mm. I'm sure you can find that. So I'm going to show you now how to make this Picot Edge, which is quite simple, and I'm going to zoom in and show you how to do that. So imagine that you have done your little sort of border strip and you're ready to go. So now we're going to chain 3. So that's yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through. So I have 3 chain on already, and I'm going to go into the very first one closest to the work. So I'm going to insert my hook, yarn over and pull up a loop. So now I have 2 on my hook, and I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those. Now, because it's a corner, I'm just going to go into the very next stitch and do a slip stitch. And now I'm going to do 3 chain, and I'm going along my straight edge. So I've done my 3 chain. I'm going into my first stitch. Because I'm zoomed, it's very difficult to stay in the center. And I do apologize if I move. So now I have my 2, yarn over, pull through both. Now I've got this little picot that's just floating there. So I'm in this stitch here. You can see, just pull it up and you can see it. I'm going to skip this next one, and I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So I'm going to insert, pull through and pull through. So I've slip stitched into that stitch there. And let me just adjust this if I can, so that I'm more center. Okay, so I'm going to show you again. That's 3 chain, 1, 2, 3. And I'm going into the very first one closest to the work, insert my hook, yarn over and pull through. So I have 2 on my hook, yarn over, pull through both. Now it's my little picot is just floating there. So I'm going to skip this stitch and slip this stitch. So I'm going to insert into the stitch through the 2 loops, yarn over, pull through both that and the stitch on my hook. So that I have made another one. So that's 3 altogether. So I'm going to carry on 1, 2, 3 into the first one closest to the work, yarn over and pull up. Then I'm going to yarn over and pull through both of those. Skip 1, slip 1. And each time I do, I pull it a little tighter so that cinches down a little bit. So 1, 2, 3 into the stitch closest to the hook, make my picot, skip this one, I'm in this stitch, look, you can see, skip this one and slip this one. And while I do, I just pull it so it cinches down a little bit. Not too tight, just enough. 1, 2, 3. Need to pull out some yarn. Into the first stitch, yarn over and pull up. Yarn over through 2. I'm in this one, skip this one and slip this one. And cinch it down. Do a few more along this side. Now you can see the stitch that we're in. Skip this one and slip into this one. Okay, so if I just pause there a second and show you what they look like. So as I didn't skip a stitch, it makes it nice and close around the corner. So otherwise it would have been a bit more separated, which around the corner you don't really want that. So there we are, that's what it looks like. It's a nice little Picot edge. If I get closer, you can see how it looks close up. So I'm just going to continue working along this side, doing my 3 chain and making my picot and skipping my next stitch and slipping into my next one, cinching it down as I go. So I'm going to carry on all the way into the corner, and I'll pause the video for now and I'll pick up with you again when I get to the corner. Now I've made it all the way along, and so I'm here and the next step is the corner. So I'm going to still at this moment, because I'm not quite there, skip one and slip one. So here I am, now I'm back at the corner. So I'm going to make my picot as usual. And instead of slipping one, I'm going to go into this next stitch. And I'm going to make another picot. And now I'm going to skip one and slip one. And so I'm going along my edge. So I'll do a few more and then we'll look at the corner, see how that looks. If at any point I go too fast or go ahead of you, then just pause the video and catch up with me. I do try to slow down as much as I can, but there is a tendency to race ahead when I need to get past something. Skip one and slip one. Okay, so we're now round. So let's have a look how the corner looks. There we go. It goes nicely and evenly all around the corner. So when you get to the very first stitch for the corner, don't skip one, just slip one into the next and then start doing your skip one. So I think the corners look much nicer that way. You can still do the skip one, but it does look a little bit more spaced out than it would. So I'm just going to carry on as the next corner is nice and close. Sorry if you can hear music. That is, believe it or not, is a car going past the house very slowly, and I wouldn't mind, but all of our windows are closed and the car windows are closed. So how loud must that be in that car? Skip one and slip one. Just need to pull out some yarn. Just pause the video a second. Sorry about that, my yarn was caught, so I just needed to free it. So I'm going to carry on to the next corner and just show you again at the corner. Again, if I go too fast, just pause the video. This is perfect when you need a little simple but pretty edge to your work. So I'm coming up to my corner, and this one, it will be a normal skip one and slip one. But now I'm at the corner. You see that? The very next stitch is the corner. So I'm going to do my picot. And I'm going into the very next stitch. And now I'm going to make another picot. And I'm now on the straight piece, so I'm going to resume skipping one and slipping into the next stitch. I don't think anyone else does that. Most people just continue round skipping. But I think it looks better if you go into that corner without making too much of a gap. I'll just show you what that one looks like. See, there we are. There's our corners, and I think they do look a little bit nicer when they're sort of close together and not too spaced out around the corner. So I'm now going to carry on going all the way along this straight edge and doing the same thing in this corner, and I'll pick up again with you when I get back to the start. If you need to look at the corner again, then you can always just rewind a little bit, but I won't show you the next corner as I have done this one or two now. So I shall just meet up with you when we get back to the start. I've almost made it round, excuse me, and so I pick up with you again, slip one, I was hoping that when I got to the end, it was not going to work out with numbers wise, so I could show you what to do if you didn't have enough space. You could either, if you didn't have the correct amount of stitches, which I do, you could just go into the next one just as you did around the corner, or you could maybe see how it looks if you extended one. But I prefer going in the next one rather than extending one. But this one works out just perfectly. So I now slip stitch into my last stitch, and this is where I would end off. So I just cut my yarn, and now just I'm going to just do another chain and pull it through, and I usually pull it down out the way, and so that's what I would do. Just now sew that in so that you can't see it, and this is how I'm going to zoom out now. This is how it looks. It's quite pretty little Picot edge all the way around the blanket. So I really like the Picot edge. I've used it a lot in my time of crochet. It's nice and pretty and finish things off without too much fuss. So that's the Picot edge. So thank you so much for watching, and until the next time, bye bye for now.